At Sephora, we know how you love to use makeup, skincare, hair care, and fragrances that work for you, but also how important it is to be in the know about the ingredients that are in them, which is why we created Clean at Sephora. Curated products from brands like Merit, Amika, Summer Fridays, and Fleur that have everything you want, minus certain ingredients you might not. Clean at Sephora is only at Sephora. Shop now at Sephora.com.
Now, from New York City to the world, it's Dominic Carter.
Well, folks, if it looks like a duck, swims like a duck, quacks like a duck, then it's probably a duck, meaning there is a possibility the suspect in a sexual assault of a 13-year-old girl who used a machete and apparently had a heavy Hispanic voice may indeed be a migrant. I'm Dominic Carter, plus a published report, the Daily Mail website reporting a secret Democratic plot, if you will, from the Democrats to replace Biden if necessary. How Clinton, Obama, Pelosi, and Schumer will topple apparently the aging president, and when they'll do it, reportedly, if Biden does not perform well at the June 27th Democratic debate against Trump. In the latest incident, former president, the latest incident, folks, you heard me right, the latest incident from this weekend, former President Barack Obama is seen Saturday reaching for Biden's arm and trying to guide, which he ultimately succeeds at, the 81-year-old commander-in-chief off the stage at a Los Angeles fundraiser. And of course, this seems to be becoming a regular. It comes after Biden stood motionless and stared with a blank look on his face for almost a full minute at the Juneteenth celebration at the White House, as others sang and danced around him. Eventually, the brother of the late George Floyd noticed Biden's concerning pause and wrapped his arm around him to help. First, Laken Riley in Georgia. Laken Riley. Say her name again. Laken Riley. The 22-year-old nursing student who was killed on the University of Georgia campus while on a run. Well, this case that's happening now, fortunately, no one died, but unfortunately, a young girl was sexually assaulted in a park in Queens, New York, and this animal tied the kids up and made the male young man that was with her watch. And the speculation is just not going away that this individual, while it's not being really talked about in the media, that this individual may indeed be a migrant. How he was able to force the young people, the kids, to go where he wanted them to go. They were in the park playing soccer. Is apparently he used a machete. And this is part of a report from WABC television here in New York.
We want to begin tonight in Queens, where an intense manhunt continues for the monster accused of sexually assaulting a 13-year-old girl and making her friend watch. This is the man police are looking for. They say he threatened two young teenagers with a knife and forced them into the woods near Casino Park before tying their hands together with a shoelace. Tonight, police, they're still on high alert.
On high alert. That's where we stand as of right now. The NYPD, and this is a case that has gone national and international. The NYPD offering now a $10,000 reward. If there's no arrest, that amount is expected to grow. I want you to listen. that same report. I want you to listen. So let me backtrack. Let's open up the phone lines. 800-848-9222. We see your calls already coming in from around the country. 800-848-9222. Dominic Carter here with you. Coming up in about 40 minutes, Curtis Lieber will join me. But right now, we're talking about what happened to this 13-year-old girl, predominantly Asian American community, at a park in Queens, New York, and this animal sexually assaulting her. Some use the word sexual assault. Some use the word rape. We know something very bad happened to this young lady. I want you to listen. Now, let's backtrack for 1 second. I can tell you folks definitively that in television newsrooms around the country, there was an effort, if you will, to say we're not going to racially describe suspects anymore. This has been going on for years. And so I've always thought it was the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. If the person is black, say he's black or she is black. If the person is white, say he or she is white. If they're Hispanic, Asian American, call them for what they are. But oh no, it's considered that you're playing into the racial problems that we reportedly have, and so the media tries its best not to do that anymore. But in this case, the NYPD has not come out and said that this culprit, if you will, is a migrant. But come on, folks, in crimes, who uses a machete? I want you to listen carefully to this television report, the same report of how the reporter is basically saying that the individual may be a migrant without saying it, because believe me, she's on orders from her managing editor to do not go there.
Other distinct characteristics to note about this suspect: we're told he had braces on his teeth and spoke with a heavily Spanish accent. If you have any information on this, big or small, please contact Crime Stoppers. That's 1-800-577-TIPS.
And so, one more time, I want you to hear that one more time. Listen to carefully the first couple of words that she says.
Other distinct characteristics to note about this suspect: we're told he had braces on his teeth and spoke with a heavily Spanish accent. If you have any information on this, big or small, please contact Crime Stoppers. That's 1-800-577-TIPS.
So how do you define, and what does that mean, a heavy Spanish accent? And weapon of choice happened to be a machete. Think about that for a second. We are also talking about this hour. We got a lot of things we're going to deal with. Caitlin Clark, that basketball player, was hit with a hard foul by her lead nemesis, Angel Reese. We'll get to that towards the back end of the show. But also, apparently, a secret Democratic plot to replace Biden revealed. How Clinton, Obama, Pelosi, and Schumer will topple the aging president. And it's starting to get very, very bad. I am telling you, no matter who they put up, no matter whom the Democrats put up, Trump is headed back to the White House. Period. Absolutely, period. Let's begin with your telephone calls. Let's go to Al, Yonkers, New York, line 5. Al, what's on your mind?
Good afternoon, Dominic. You know, Dominic, there's nothing worse than a sexual predator, and topping that is a sexual predator on a children. This girl who was violated in the Queens Park, it's bad enough that she'll have to live with that psychological trauma for the rest of her life.
Absolutely.
And she, and also physically, she knows she's been violated. But I have, a strong belief that the authorities, I know the chief of the department, the chief of patrol have been out there in the park. And, I'm confident that the authorities will bring this person to justice in the near future.
Well, let's hope so. Thank you, Al, for that call. Let's go to Brooklyn, New York. Jacqueline, what's on your mind?
Hi, Dominic. When I spoke with you last week about this case, this Casino Park case, shortly thereafter, after you had explained to me about the terminology that's used, either sexual assault or rape, I noticed even the police department, when they made their report, they are even they're flip-flopping back and forth between using the term rape or sexual assault. But anyway, I thought that it's a very good possibility that this rapist, this criminal, could be an illegal immigrant. And now I'm starting to say, wow, they haven't caught him yet. They're not even saying that they have any leads. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if this is an illegal immigrant. If he already left the country, he fled back to his country of origin, wherever that may be, Venezuela, or whichever country they like to use a machete in the course of their crimes, and he'll sneak back into the country after things calm down and they're not looking for him anymore.
Unfortunately, Jacqueline, you're correct. In terms of if that is indeed the case, we saw that when police officers have been attacked by migrants. Jacqueline, maybe you can help me with this. Explain this phenomenon to me. Where these migrants, I don't know the best way to say this. I'm referring to the males, and I'm not referring to all. Obviously, I'm referring to a very small percentage. What is going on with these guys sexually where they think they can just grab women in full public view and drag them somewhere and have sex with them? What is happening here?
This is what they do in their country. It's, as you said, the machete is their weapon of choice. This is their behavior. This is their entire culture. They're running with gangs in their country. They come here. They're running with gangs. They have no regard for human life, period. End of story. They have no regard for women. So they do as they darn well please. And nothing is going to change because they come here and they know that it's a free-for-all. You know, come on over. We'll give you plenty of money. We'll give you a 5-star hotel. You can drive around on one of these illegal scooters, mopeds, whatever you want to call them, and you can go and commit the crimes. Alvin Bragg and everybody else will let you out. It's a revolving door. Kill who you want, rape who you want, steal from who you want. Do what you please. We don't care. As long as you vote for the Democratic Party, that's all we're concerned about.
Jacqueline, thank you for the call. Let's go to New Jersey, Paramus. Let's say hello to Walker. Walker, what's on your mind?
Dominic, good afternoon. This just has all the earmarks of Tawana Brawley. Remember that? She didn't want to get behind whooping from her mom, and she came up with this whole story. I'm not saying that this didn't happen. I'm not sure. I wasn't there. But you got two 13-year-old kids, maybe, curious. And this guy's right out of central casting, a machete, a Spanish accent, a tattoo.
The suspect on trial right now was right out of central casting with Laken Riley. And I don't know, Walker, if this has been done or not, but you can't really fake a rape kit. If that's been done, that would show trauma to the young lady's private area. So I don't understand why you're questioning whether or not this actually happened.
Well, the police don't always tell you everything they have.
Of course not.
They'll play close to the vest. They might be looking at somebody else, let's say.
Okay, but again, I'm trying to understand what makes you think you've made the comparison to the Tawana Brawley hoax. What would make you think that that's what we're dealing with here?
Well, they're 13-year-old kids, and with school, with the computer, the pornography that they're exposed to, they might have got a little bit curious. They might have said, we did something wrong. And the people that they interviewed, they weren't from central casting. These were all people that live in that neighborhood, said it's basically a safe park. I don't live there. I don't know. But you would think they would say, oh, my God, we knew this would happen. Walker,
if it's a safe park and you have these migrants coming, they are looking for victims anywhere they can find them. I'm not following your logic, but thank you so much for the call. I'm not understanding, Walker, at all the point that you're trying to make, but everybody's entitled to their opinion. Dominic Carter here with you. We are going to take a break. When we come back, more of your telephone calls. Boy, do we have a lot to talk about this hour.
This is Dominic Carter.
Long Island is more exciting than ever at Jake's 58 Casino Hotel. Get ready to zoom into some serious cash with Zoom Ball every Wednesday in June. Win up to $500,000. 1 point equals 1 entry. 2 lucky winners will be drawn at the top of every hour from 1 to 5 p.m. to play Zoom Ball. Discover the excitement at Jake's 58 Casino Hotel.
If gambling is a problem for you or someone, please call the 24-hour toll-free helpline at 877-8-HOPE-NY or text NY.
Welcome to the Flash Finds Podcast, the world's fastest podcast where we explore how Facebook can help you with the stuff you're into. I'm Emma Rogue, and today I'm with Megan, a member of the Unity Skate Collective group. So Megan, what's the best roller skating tip you've gotten from your Facebook group?
That's probably to square your shoulders. It took me a really long time to learn spins, and it was because my shoulders weren't balanced. But if I balanced them out, I got it.
Say less. I will definitely be joining. Thanks, Megan. See you next time on the Flash Finds Podcast, all about discovering the stuff on Facebook you care about. Bye.
Hey, it's Joe Piscopo. When you're looking for concrete materials for your next construction project, call Diamondback Ready Mix on Staten Island. This family-owned and operated business is the go-to supplier for concrete materials in New York, New Jersey, and the surrounding tri-state areas. My friends and experts from Diamondback Ready Mix are experts and fully licensed and insured in New York and in New Jersey to deliver ready-mix concrete to your job site. Give them a call today for more information at 718-650-5649, 718-650-5649.
Now, from New York City to the world, it's Dominic Carter.
And the question remains, is the suspect a migrant? Why, if this is the case, the information has not been released. The NYPD chief of department, we're referring to the sexual assault, some say rape, of the 13-year-old girl in the Queens Park. Her male friend tied up, same age, forced to watch this horrific incident. And, of course, it's a parent's nightmare, according to the NYPD chief of department, Jeffrey Madry. So this happened in Flushing, Queens, about in the middle of the afternoon, 3:30 p.m., when the suspect, who had braces on his teeth and a distinctive chest tattoo, approached and ordered the kids to follow him. They were playing soccer. He ordered the kids to follow him into the woods. And when the kids said no, the suspect apparently flashed a large machete-style knife and forced them into a patch of trees. The man tied the 2 children's wrists together with a shoelace and sexually assaulted the girl while the helpless boy forced to watch. The thief then robbed the 2 children of their cell phones and told each of them to wait at the location for 20 minutes while he fled the area on foot. That's according to the chief of detectives, NYPD. I'm coming right back to that and to what happened with Obama forced to step in at the fundraiser in L.A. Saturday night. The president of the United States of America appeared to freeze again, and Obama had to gently grab him by the arm and play it off the best way he could as they walked off stage. But I want to branch off for just 1 second. I am giving comedian Jerry Seinfeld a lot of credit. I've had it with these anti-Israel protesters, and Seinfeld had a perfect comeback to a heckler, an anti-Israel heckler, during a live performance he did in Australia. And part of what he said, you're going to hear it right now, is we have a genius here, ladies and gentlemen. This is Jerry Seinfeld, and this is the way he dealt with an anti-Israel heckler in Australia.
We have a genius, ladies and gentlemen. He solved the Middle East. He solved it. It's the Jewish comedians. That's what we have to get. They're the ones doing everything. Yeah, go ahead, keep going. They're going to start punching you in about 3 seconds, so I would try and get all of your genius out so we can all learn from you. It's a comedy show, you moron. Get out of here.
Say it again, Jerry. moron. And to all the anti-Israel protesters, you are all morons. Turn the police dogs, at least have them at the protest. I've got to take a break. We have a lot coming up. Stay with us, folks.
Now, from New York City to the world, it's Dominic Carter.
I think you should take a cognitive test like I did. I took a cognitive test and I aced it. Doc Ronnie Johnson, does everyone know Ronnie Johnson, congressman from Texas? He was the White House doctor. And he said I was the healthiest president he feels in history. So I liked him very much.
And so obviously the former president mispronounced the name. He meant to say Jackson. But the bigger point is Mr. Trump is right in terms of the cognitive ability of the president of the United States. The fact of the matter is nearly every time Mr. Biden appears in public these days, he fuels the conversation, the chatter. And there's a report on the Daily Mail website that with the aging president, will he bow out of the 2024 race? Or perhaps the more pertinent question is, will he be forced to step aside? The latest incident over the weekend, Obama on stage with him in L.A. raising a lot of money. But at the end of the event, it appears the president of the United States froze. That glare that he's been doing literally stopped and stood there. And the 81-year-old commander-in-chief, Obama, had to gently grab his arm or put his arm on his arm and pull him to say, let's go. They walk off the stage. Obama's waving and the president to the crowd. And the president is just walking off the stage, looking, and the White House is denouncing it. Of course, what else would you expect for them to say? It's hard to deal with the reality of, I've been saying this for months, you might as well just go ahead and swear Trump in now and save yourself the embarrassment, Democrats. It's over, finito, done. This race is over. Let's go to John in Yonkers, New York, line 4. John, what's on your mind?
Hey, Dominic, great show. Long-time listener. Couple things, okay, about this sexual assault. I have a friend that's married to a Colombian woman, and they've been together over 30-something years. She says in her homeland and in most of those countries south of the border, okay, sexual assault, teenage marriage, men pouncing on young girls is not unusual.
But first of all, John, you're not telling us anything that all of us don't already know. We all know that. But go ahead.
Here, okay, and this anchor baby nonsense is another reason why
the anchor baby con. Let's focus on that. Let's get to America. I want to live in America. You get to America, you bring your girlfriend or you're a single woman and you get here. And then next thing you know, you're pregnant. And then here comes the Medicaid. Here comes the Similac, the free Similac, the baby food, the food stamps, the apartment. 21 years, or at least 18 years, the taxpayers are on the hook for these anchor babies. Continue, John.
One thing. Last week, this guy Jeff called up. Now, I've listened to you quite a bit, and I got to say, you handled it very nicely. I don't think I could have. I will tell you this. A guy like that, you should throw what they throw at guys like you and guys like Scott. Call him an Uncle Tom, because that's all he is. He's a puppet for these wealthy, liberal, stupid people who try to turn this country against hardworking Americans.
Well, I hear you, John, and I'm sending love to you, man. In Yonkers, you're referring to Jeff in Harlem. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be completely honest with you. It appears that he's a young brother, and sometimes young brothers have to be guided. He doesn't know, and maybe it's my job to guide him without attacking him or criticizing him. He doesn't know what he's really saying. He only knows what exists in his community, and he doesn't know a way out. And the easy way out is it's white people's fault. It's their fault why black people can't get progress. But I'll say again, John, I don't see white people in the projects for the most part, in the projects I'm referring to. I'm not implying that white people don't live in the projects. And the urine in your elevator, I don't see white people putting that there. The feces in your elevator, I don't see white people putting it there. The educational opportunities that you have in front of you, that's free, basically. I don't see white people blocking you from taking those opportunities. In fact, I see white people helping to create those opportunities. Jeff, thank you for the wonderful call. Two things I want you folks to listen to. Then, and by the way, Curtis Lee will help me, folks, today. Curtis Lee was about to come up, and about 10 minutes from now, help me because God only knows what Curtis is going to say. That's coming up in about 10 minutes. I want you to listen, right? The issue of immigration as it's going to impact on Democrats. Listen to what Bill Maher on HBO, how he says Democrats are about to pay dearly for this migrant experiment and for the southern border.
Voters keep saying over and over again, we are not comfortable with this level of immigration. I understand why. It doesn't make you a racist to say that. And yet, the liberal parts of, certainly in America, Alex Padilla said last week, he is our senator here, by reviving Trump's asylum ban, Biden has undermined American values. And then they all stand back and go, we don't want to be called a racist, so we will not make a move on immigration. It's going to get them at election day.
And let the church say amen. Bill Maher is only saying what I've been saying for months, but let the church say amen. I want you to also listen to this. I'm about to go to Russ in White Plains. I want you to listen, folks, to this. It's happened again. It's happened again in terms of Caitlin Clark, the WNBA sensation. She's being physically attacked, if you will, by other players, this time by her lead nemesis, Angel Reese. And when does it stop? When does it stop? Don't get mad at me because I'm telling you the truth. This young lady is under attack because she's white in a sport that's dominated by African-American females. Some of those females who happen to be gay, and Clark is straight, and they're mad and jealous of her endorsement deals. Stop the hating. Stop the hating on this young lady. Let her do her thing. Do what Larry Bird and Magic Johnson did. Some of you will disagree with this, but America felt that the NBA, the face of the NBA, if you will, was too black, right? So here comes Bird and here comes Magic. What did Magic do? He embraced Bird. That's the way to handle it. And they both got paid. And they still are both getting paid, and they're both good friends today. Every chance Angel Reese gets, she takes a shot at Caitlin Clark, and Caitlin Clark cannot respond because she's white and because of the white movement, the woke movement, I meant to say, and if she responds, the woke movement will go crazy if Caitlin Clark responds to any of this. This, what you're about to hear, was just the latest incident.
Third in the voting last season. Clark, hammer. 3 Sky players coming over. At the top, the official is pointing to his head here, and I think they're going to look at this. To review it. The foul, I believe, to Angel Reese. Yep, across the head, and they will go to the monitor to review this one.
A flagrant foul, right? And, you know, all the time on the court in college, these two played for the national championship against each other. And LSU, Angel Reese team, beat Caitlin Clark team, Iowa. But Angel Reese showing no class, holding up the ring finger. You know, put a ring on it. I just won the national championship. When First Lady Jill Biden made the mistake of inviting both teams to the White House, it was a mistake because only the winner goes. Angel Reese basically saying, absolutely not. They lost. Either we only go or I'm not going at all. Young lady, show some class. Russ in White Plains, what's on your mind?
Well, I would never put words in Jacqueline of Brooklyn's mouth. She's very astute. But when she questions whether it's rape or sexual assault, that fed right into what that guy was saying about Tawana Brawley. And I just wonder if Jacqueline's kind of getting at that because she's got a very clear understanding of things, and I'd like to know what she thinks. Also, Dominic, there was a machete attack on the Staten Island Ferry a few years back. It wasn't a migrant. And when you're talking to Anthony Weiner, he says they got a democracy over there in Israel like ours. Ask him if they have gay marriage in Israel. They don't. Muslims can't marry Jews. And, the caller Jeff claims you're anti-black because you recognize certain criminals are black quite often, but you make the similar leap when people recognize that Zionists are Jewish, and you tell people that they're anti-Jewish. The same logic that Jeff is using on you. Don't you think that's wrong for him to do?
Well, I honestly think I am a strong supporter of the Jewish community, and one asks why. And one, because there's a strong possibility, Russ, that I wouldn't be in front of this microphone if not for the Jewish community going back to the 60s when Jews died for me and other African Americans to have rights, for us to have the right to vote. So our Jewish brothers and sisters have stood with my community. Thus, let's fast forward. I've been to Israel several times, and once you go to Israel and see how Israel has been under attack by these animals of Hamas, of how it's a beautiful country, but you can't live in peace. I wrote the 18 bus, which was the bus that happened the terrorist bombings. And I got to tell you, I was racially profiling. I was looking at everybody on that bus, man, woman, child. Do you have a bomb in your bag? And so what else were you trying to say to me here, Russ? I want to make sure you don't feel that I'm ignoring you. What else did you say?
I don't understand how you'd profile a Jewish person or a Palestinian on a bus because they're all, not Ashkenazis or the other kind of Semites. But, I want to point out that basketball is a contact sport. It's not for panty waist like baseball. Baseball is for people who don't want to have any contact. That was a foul, and they're making the sport very popular. Thank you very much. I'll listen to you tonight, Dominic.
Thank you, Russ. And, of course, I'll be back again at midnight. I also have a second show daily. And there are fouls in sports, but it's like a wink. I gotta give you a hard foul on this one. Just like, let me give you an example. I was talking to some baseball players recently, and I said, guys, tell me the truth. Do you always slide hard because you got a shot at stealing the base, or is it part of the show and you're about to be thrown out, but you got to put on the show? He said, of course, there are times when we know we're out by a long shot, but we have to slide for the crowd because it's part of the show. Think about that. They're in the best shape of their lives. They're young men. But what grown man wants to dive to the ground and slide into second base, slide into third base, slide into home? Nobody in their right mind, but they have to do it because it's part of the show. That's not what's happening with Caitlin Clark. They're trying to hurt this young lady. They're really trying to hurt this young lady, and you don't hurt the golden goose. It really is that simple. Let's go to Steve, Manhattan, line 5. Steve, what's on your mind?
All right, Dom, and it's great to be on the afternoons in WABC. The last time might have been the Bob Grant show. I'm going to say something about Caitlin and then the assault in the park.
But quickly, go ahead.
Caitlin Clark did address this. She goes, it looks like I'm going to have to take a couple of hard physical shots every game. And I could add to this. Caitlin Clark's boyfriend, who's an college basketball player, is employed by the NBA. He works with the coaches. He wants to become a full-time coach in the NBA. I think she's also holding back because of that. Because if she gets militant, her boyfriend is going to get a really bad from players and other coaches in the league. He's going to get it from them really bad. That's what I'm going to say as far as that. And as far as those fouls she's taken, look, there was another famous Clark in sports. His name was Bobby Clark. He was very aggressive. she's going to have to turn it to Bobby Clark. I don't want to hear anything about she's going to have to take physical fouls. If you want to see what can happen on a basketball court, just go to the video of Kent Benson, and then there's a video of Rudy Tomjanovich. Both are sucker punches, and it is really disgusting. Now, in the park, I would caution people. A lot of times I see these invaders, they have shopping carts. And I always figure they might have a machete in there or some kind of knife or a weapon in there. You have to be your antennas have to come up today because these invaders are all over the place. And unfortunately, we've accepted the crime problem for the last 60 years. And the only thing you can do when it is this disgusting, it's got to be with the police. It has to be, I really say it, force-rooted in justice. That's what it has to be.
You're dead on, Steve. Thank you for the call. You're dead on accurate with your assessment of what you just said on those issues, especially the crime issue. It's utterly out of control. Out of control, folks. I've got to take a break. When we come back, he's going to join us live. Curtis Lewa, Guardian Angels. I have no idea what he wants to take me on about with today, but we will find out together, you and I, live.
This is Dominic Carter.
And now, it's time for the Tunnel to Towers Foundation Final Thoughts.
And folks, Tunnel to Towers, they do outstanding work. Joining me right now, Curtis Lewa, and I got to tell you, Curtis, the weather is going to be fantastic. Well, if you like steamy, hot weather where you can't breathe, that's what it's going to be.
I love it. I got my red sateen jacket on, my wool beret. It can't get hot enough for me, and I love humidity. It's a nice schwitz.
You like this.
I love it. But I hate you, Dominic. I'm your hater now.
Oh, boy.
I'm listening to you at 12 midnight.
Oh, boy.
And all of a sudden you're
Wait, you say you hate me?
I'm a hater of you now. Big time.
Oh, boy.
I'm listening to you 12 midnight because that's your second shift.
Okay.
And you're talking about, oh, yeah, the Mets, they aren't that bad. I went with my Met paraphernalia on to a Met game. I tailgated for the first time. I thought you were a Yankee fan.
I am a Yankee fan. I grew up in the Bronx, New York, but I went to a Mets game. The Mets were in town, and I put on my Mets hat. I bought a Mets hat, and I bought a Mets T-shirt. What's wrong with that?
You might as well have been making love down on the field with Mr. Met. What the hell? You could go to a Met game.
What did you just say?
Go down on the diamond there at Citi Field and make love to Mr. Met. What is wrong with you? You put on the garb of the enemy. That would be like Bloods putting on Crip colors. You don't do that. Now, you want to go to a Met game? That's fine. You maintain, I'm a Yankee fan. But in civilian garb. But when you put on the uniform of the team that I hate, I loathe, I despise.
Why?
Because if you're a Yankee fan, you hate the Mets, and if you're a Met fan, you hate the Yankees. What are you, like a politician like Hillary Rodham Clinton was? Oh, I love the Yankees and I love the Mets. Like all these fake, phony, fraudulent, fugazi politicians.
If I'm in Atlanta, I put on a Falcons jersey. If I'm in Rhode Island, with my daughter, if I'm at a Patriots game, I put on a Patriots.
Oh, wait a second. Speaking of football, I remember that time. You were at a Jet game, and you had on number 12, Joe Willie Namath.
How do you remember this?
In
it's
Green,
true.
Because the brothers gave you a hard time to say, yo, man, this is the year Black Lives Matter. How come you don't have on a Curtis Martin jersey? And you had to defend wearing a Joe Namath jersey.
Plus, it was also at that time of the call amongst the black community to boycott the NFL because of the Kaepernick situation, which was disgusting on his part. You don't get out there and disgrace the American flag, but that's neither here nor there. So you're telling me that if I'm even in another city that I have to wear the Yankees?
Yeah, you probably had on a Michael Vick Atlanta Falcons jersey because you're a dog killer.
Oh boy,
what is wrong with you?
Oh boy,
you don't do that. You're a traitor. You're un traditor. You're no real sports fan. Look, I admire a Met fan that comes up to me and says, I hate you, Curtis, because you're a Yankee fan. I said, then you're a real fan. You're a real fan. That I can admire. But you, What are you running for political office? You're trying to set it, and then you tailgated for the first time. You were an Orangeman. You went to the University of Syracuse.
Yes,
they have tailgating parties all the time outside of the Dome.
This is true. Hey, you got a great. It's not the Dome anymore, but you have a great. You're good. How do you remember all this stuff?
Because I had a patrol down the hill from Syracuse University
in the
bricks, the projects. Right.
Really?
The hospital is right there.
That's
so if you
good.
get shot and stabbed, they only have to walk you a few hundred feet.
You're making me lose my pen, and you do know we're on video right now, right?
So all of a sudden, you were tailgating for the first time. In Syracuse University, all they do is tailgate and drink beer on Main Street. They jump from bar to bar, pub to pub. And what are you trying to tell me? You were a teetotaler?
No, what I'm trying to tell you is that I was there for school, and it was serious. I mean, I attended a tailgate, but I never threw my own tailgate.
Oh, and then you were at Cortland State, the SUNY College, where the white boys taught you to tip over cows in the middle of the night. You were saying, these are crazy white people.
Curtis Lewa, I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Folks, all it takes is $11 a month. Donate $11 a month to the Tunnel to Towers Foundation at T2T.org. Dominic Carter here with you, Curtis Lewa. Lord help me, whatever Curtis is going to say tomorrow. Have a great day, folks.
This is Greg Kelly for Priority Gold. What does it mean to be America's precious metals dealer? It means that you're in touch with the hearts and minds of those who love this country, value our freedom, and want to protect the future. Priority Gold is that precious metals dealer. They've helped thousands of Americans back their retirement with solid gold and silver. Call Priority Gold at 888-506-6439. Receive free shipping, free storage, a free investment guide, and one of the best purchase experiences in the industry. Call now or go to PriorityGold.com.